Alright, guys, so as you know, recently the new Pokemon Legends ZA was announced, and I wanted to cover it for a while, but I could never get to it, so I'm just gonna talk about it here.
Sorry, future me here. I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. Thank you.
So Legends CA seems like it's gonna be an amazing game, just from the few things they've told us. And not only that, Game Freak seems to be taking their time with this, and making sure it's a great and refined game, because none of us were expecting this game to be released in 2025. We thought their release date was gonna be here this year, like we thought the game that they were gonna release was gonna be this year, but it's coming out next year. And I'm all for it because they're finally taking their time with the games, and it's gonna mean that the game's gonna be better, more refined, and overall a better experience for us to experience. But all that aside, let's be honest, none of us were expecting a Kalos game. All of us seemed to assume it was gonna be a Johto or Yutaba game, but I'm excited because though I've never mentioned it before, my first ever Pokemon game was a X and Y. And even though times were tough, and yes, I know it was one of the easiest Pokemon games, but I always reset because I never read through any of the text, so I couldn't find the Team Flare hideout. I had no idea it was in Lumia City for the longest time. Anyway, I finished it eventually, and it let me experience the wonderful world of Pokemon for the first time, and I am so thankful for it. But I know some of you may be thinking, I'm doing this video, I'm biased, and I'll just waste your time. But I have genuine reasons for this game being better than most people will think it will be. Firstly, if you've heard the news, you'd know that this game is taking place in Lumia City almost entirely. And people are rethinking their opinions on this game because of that. Because Lumia City is small and X and Y, and a Pokemon game is about adventure in the wilderness, less of like in a big city. And I understand this concern, but it's actually a blessing in disguise. If you notice, they show a map in the trailer, and it's huge. It looks much bigger than Lumios in the games. And mind you, Lumios is one of, if not the biggest city to ever be placed in a Pokemon game. Unless you count, like, I don't know, like Mesagoza, which is like from the newest one, too. As you can see, Lumios in the games looks pretty big, pretty big. Like, there's a bunch of stores there and stuff. But if you see it in the trailer, it looks 10 times bigger. That's a lot more than just a few stores. Believe it or not, there's a lot you can do in a city. A lot of video games are placed in cities. And a lot of them are open world games too, like Spider-Man or Batman. Those are great examples of an open world game in a city. And secondly, Legend ZA seems to be taking place in a similar time period to France, which Colossus is based on, in the 1800s during Napoleon's rule, where he made large improvements to Paris, which Lumios is based on. And evidence from the trailer shows that we may be helping out in the construction of Lumios because of the blueprints and stuff. And this game could have expansive world building that expands Kalos and the Pokemon games as a whole. And I look forward to it. Lastly, when has Pokemon ever made a bad game? Think about it. They've never made a game that I would consider bad. Some weren't, the best, but overall, a bunch of them, if not all of them, were enjoyable. And the fact that they're taking their time to make the game shows that Game Freak is not going to stop their record of good Pokemon games now. And lately, the stories of these games have gotten better, and you start to care about the characters. A great example of this is Scarlet and Violet, especially the DLCs. The reason I look forward to the DLCs so much, and why I love them so much, is because they made me care about the characters. I wanted to see what would happen next, no matter how short or goofy the story would be. And that's why Legend ZA will be an amazing game for us to enjoy as Pokemon fans, and I, for one, cannot wait. And if it ends up being a bust, then it's a bust. But right now, we can look forward to it. And as a reminder, please subscribe, it really helps out a lot. And hope you enjoy. There's a bunch of other videos for you to watch. Yeah, see you later.